Okay, good morning. Mrs. Pack and I just wanted to put together this informational video for you to kind of prepare you and give you some more information about our 5th grade class trip that will be in the springtime. So your students may have mentioned at some point that we have talked a little bit about going to Camp Joy, and Mrs. Pack is going to elaborate a little bit more about the experience that Camp Joy is going to offer for your child.
Yeah, we're really excited about this opportunity. It's our first time going to Camp Joy. We've looked into it several years in the past, but it's very expensive. But we committed this year to putting forth the effort into raising the money so that your children could go. It is going to be an overnight trip, and it's scheduled for March the 13th and the 14th. And just a heads up, we are looking for as many chaperones as we can take. So just check and make sure your volunteer card is up to date, because we would love for you to join us. Of course, we'll be sending more information home with you as we get closer, but just to let you know, this trip, meals are included, transportation is included. It is an overnighter, as I've mentioned. It's going to be a fun activity, but it's also going to be very educational. The staff there at Camp Joy has all kinds of teamwork activities that they allow the kids to participate in. And it's an underground railroad simulation. So I am particularly excited about it as a social studies teacher. But as I said before, it's very expensive, so we have written grants. Mr. Bessler wrote a couple of grants. We've got some money coming in from Camp Joy. We've secured $2,800 from a grant. Our P&G survey, we made over $700. Thank you to those of you that participated in that event. Our Halloween dance was also very successful. We raised over $400 at that event. And our boograms, we raised over $400. So we're well on the way to raising our money. But every opportunity that we have to raise money, we're asking for your participation in that so that we can make this trip affordable to all of our students. So Mr. Bessler is going to talk to you a little bit about our upcoming fundraiser, which we're thrilled about, and looking forward to the opportunities to making lots of money for that event.
Okay, so coming home to you was the permission slip on Wednesday for a World's Finest Chocolate fundraiser. Mrs. Pack, Mrs. Rath, and the 5th grade team has really sat down to try and brainstorm what the best fundraiser that we're going to do and is going to provide the most profit for us, and the fundraiser that's going to be the easiest, that's not going to require people coming in on a Saturday and picking things up or organizing things, and really trying to get a fundraiser that is, we're going to get the most bang for our buck for the amount of work we're going to have to put in. So we settled on World's Finest Chocolate because they actually offer us a 50% profit. So there are 60 candy bars in a case of chocolate, and the 5th grade team and the 5th grade students will get $30 for every box that is sold. So while I know that doing additional fundraising can provide some challenges both at school and at home, we decided that we felt this was the best fundraiser so we can make as much money as we can and keep the cost as low as possible for our class trip that we do to Camp Joy. So just to run some numbers, if each student were to sell one box, we would bring in $2,400. So if all 80 of our students sold just one box, we would make $2,400. If each student sold 2 boxes, we would make $4,800, which would put us up almost where we need to be to close the gap for the cost that we're going to have to pay to go to Camp Joy. So we have worked with World's Finest Chocolate to put together a prize and incentive program to keep people engaged and keep our students engaged, so they can earn some of our prizes as well as keep the cost low for Camp Joy. So I have 10 golden tickets that are going to go into our boxes of chocolate, and if the student gets that box of chocolate that has the golden ticket in it, once they sell the chocolate that's inside of it, they themselves will get a 1-pound chocolate bar. We're going to urge them to split that with their parents and the teacher and their siblings at home. But when we had mentioned that, there was a lot of excitement that kind of went around the classroom. There are gift cards available for students, so every student that sells a box will participate in a gift card grab where they can reach in and they can get a gift card anywhere from $5 to $20. And then probably the prize that people are most excited about is the grand prize for each student that sells 2 or more cases. They'll be entered to win a night for a family of 4 at the Great Wolf Lodge. So every student that sells 2 or more cases, for each case over 2 sold, they'll get an additional entry into the pot for that. So I think that we plan on having a meeting this afternoon, and we think that that's going to be the thing that's really going to get people pumped up and motivated. Along with that, we are doing cash prizes for top sellers in classes. So cash prizes for top sellers in classes are going to be available. And then we're going to wrap everything up with a pizza party on the 1st of December. So a lot of motivation, lot of information coming out at you, but we know that it will be successful and that we can really, really benefit our class trip if we can get everybody's participation. So I've already had some questions from some parents. They said, can we go ahead and start with 2 cases? Obviously, we would love that if you want to start with 2 cases. If you work in an office building, or you work in a doctor's office, or you attend a church that has an event after the church on Sunday, or on maybe a Wednesday evening service, that would be a great place to bring chocolate bars and try and sell those to help support our fundraiser. We are not opposed to giving as many boxes out to people as they want, because we're really, really hoping that this is going to be the fundraiser that's going to kind of put us at the tipping point where we don't really have to stress about, okay, how are we going to earn the rest of the money to keep the cost low for our students.
However, you need to remember that in order for your children to have a box of chocolate, they need to have a signed permission slip.
Yes.
Because make sure that we are communicating that you are responsible for that box of chocolate. So students who did not bring that in today will not get their box of chocolate, but you can still send that in next week, because we would like every student to participate, because as Mr. Bessler said, we're trying to make this trip affordable for every student.
I had some questions from some parents. If we don't sell the whole box of chocolate, can we return the box of chocolate? So the answer to that is yes, but we are really urging and hoping that we can get every student to sell 1 box, because once that chocolate comes back, we have to disperse it to make sure it gets sold, because we can't return it back to World's Finest once it's been opened. Right. So our hope is that if a box is opened, that the entire box gets sold. So we're not trying to figure out how we're going to make up and give extra individual chocolate bars to specific students. So the easiest situation is that they all get sold. If not, though, we would rather sell 40 than none. So if there is leftover, you can send it in, and we'll work on figuring out how we can get that split up among other students so it can be sold. But I think overall, the Camp Joy trip is going to be an excellent experience for your child. I had mentioned to some students the other day that I actually went when I was a 7th grader, and I still remember almost every single detail about the trip. It was that memorable. I learned a lot. It was engaging, and I still talk about it today. And I think that your child will get a lot out of that trip. So we're really excited about being able to go this year. We're hoping that this is going to set us a precedent so we can continue going in future years. But it's going to be a great trip, and we're really excited to have you on board to help us get that money raised so we can get our students the experience.
Great. So if you have any questions, just let us know, but we look forward to taking our students and you along with us to Camp Joy.
Thank you.
Have a great day.